This is just history repeating itself, just doing it a bison rancher way, because this is what the Native Americans used to do. Instead of chasing the bison, guess who shows up for the green grass? That's how it's been going, and that's what we're doing right here by Pasture Grazing. Well, hey guys, welcome back to Cross Timbers Bison. Back in February, we did a patch burn on 40 acres in the back side of the property. Today's one of my favorite things to do as a bison rancher. We're moving the Big Joe herd from the front of the property to the very back to the patch burn graze. They're gonna be happy. Got the most important tool, got the treats, and a sack to rattle. You guys have been in here long enough. Let's go to the burn unit. What's up, Big Joe? Yes, I've got cubes for you. Let's go, family. Got a little ways to go. You guys are going to a good place. Get out of the ATV. Come on, I got you. Come on, Big Joe. There you go. Come on, everybody. On the floor. Sounds like a Shania Twain song. 1, 2, here we go. A 3, 4. Come on, everybody. Woo! Come on. Come on. Woo! Come on, kid. We made it. These bison are so funny. As soon as we made it to the burn unit, they found a recent brush pile that I just burned a couple weeks ago. They started rolling in it. It's something about ash and the dirt that they love. They just start wallowing in it as soon as they got here. And so it's something that they always do when they find these recent burn piles. Something I forgot to mention, the Big Joe herd is about to reunite with Princess Eleanor. Eleanor was minding her own business, laying and chilling next to one of the dry ponds. And as soon as the herd found her, she looked to be really excited to see him. But unfortunately, because of her status and where she's at on the pecking order, they ran her off. And she eventually comes back. And that's just the unfortunate part about Eleanor. And that's why she gets special treatment. And she's so special to us. They're so happy to be out here right now. They're just running and running. Meanwhile, some of them are over here wondering what is going on. So one of the awesome things about this pasture, there's so many great things about patch burn grazing I can tell you about, but man, that is so fun. Seriously, one of my favorite things of being a bison rancher is moving the bison to like fresh ground, fresh growth. There hasn't been bison on this since like September, basically. Maybe a little bit in December, and then back off. So we burnt this 40 acres, part of our patch burn grazing program, on February 9th, Brooks's birthday actually. This has had plenty of time for regrowth. We've had a couple of rains. What this is some of the cool season grasses are still growing. That's why you gotta get it now while you can, because when it heats up and we start getting into those 90s, all the cool season grasses will go away. And then your native becomes super dominant. There's some native grasses coming up here. That's why we patch burn. You burn it, it grows up. It's super high in protein right now. We're doing it midday. Right after lunch is the highest peak time to get protein from the grasses. That's when the protein has moved up into the tips of the grasses and they are capturing the protein at the highest level of the day. That's why I kind of waited this right after lunch to move them, and they are super happy, hunky-dory. Here comes the big guy here. You know what, I have to give him some credit. I do have cubes left, and I will give you some because you're a good boy. Right, Big Joe. He's a good boy, and he helps me move them. Even though you're the last one here, See, the mamas don't have calves right now. Hopefully they're pregnant. Some of them have some late borns in here, but this pasture right here may be some of the ground where we have our first 2025 calves of the year. This may be the pasture. The entire backside property, or the burn unit, what I like to say, we first burnt in 22, is 80 acres. Then we have another patch of 18 over here, and so we've got some ground that hasn't been burned since 22, and then we have recently burned. But there's a home being built right here, back here. If you hear some noise and see some commotion going on, there's my neighbor, the Thomason family, is building a home right back here. So they're gonna have a great view of seeing the bison. Now that we've burnt this 40 acres, we could burn that other 40 acres right here next to us. I don't know if I have enough standing dead, which my good friend Cole Fagan, my fire guy, kind of let me know about it. So what you can do with patch burn grazing, use your cross fences, whatever you want to do. You don't have to use cross fences. Patch burn here in the spring, patch burn somewhere else in the summer, or even patch burn in another pasture next spring. But what you do on your property is you move your burns around your property. You graze it with some management. You don't hammer it and things like that. You've got to give it time. You've got to give yourself some standing dead in your other pastures, which is what I failed to do this past year and didn't do a very good job of, because I've had too many bison. We reduced this herd. There's a herd of 20 now. Last year I looked at my records, and on March 28th and 29th, we had 2 babies. First time ever to have babies that early. So there's no telling when they can have babies. I'm thinking April and for sure May. This is just history repeating itself, just doing it a bison rancher way, because this is what the Native Americans used to do. On the Great Plains, instead of chasing the bison, they would burn in the spring. Guess what happens in the spring after you get a couple of rains? Green grass shows up. Guess who shows up for the green grass? Right there. That's how it's been going, and that's what we're doing right here by patch burn grazing. Christy's wanting some cubes. You deserve it, Christy. Thanks for moving. You always follow me wherever I go. So something I'm doing different this time, just to keep an eye on them while they're in this back 80 area, is I went ahead and put up a camera. Just give me a sense of comfort knowing that I can check on them. No, I can't see everything on this 80 acres, but it was a great place. I knew that the bison were going to travel in and out of, so that's why I went ahead and put this camera up here. Not long after I left and got back to the ranch, got a notification, and Eleanor came back. You can see her on footage, her coming back and grazing around the pole. Then I got some other footage of, looks like Big Joe rubbing on the actual pole, getting a good scratching out of it, just getting some random photos of them. And then we got some rain, which is super exciting. Here's another great benefit to the bison being in that patch burn area. It's gonna give all of the rest of our pastures time off. It's gonna give them rest, which is what they need. This is a cover crop we planted in pasture 3. This is the pasture that's been struggling even after urea. Probably needs some minerals on it, probably needs some lime on it. And then right here, it's a sacrifice pasture. Right here in pasture 4, this is where they've been staged. Nothing has been done in this pasture except hay being rolled out and cubes. This is the pasture, well, I say sacrifice, it has to hold them in it until everything else has been ready. And then you've got pasture 1 right behind the barn, which is where they've been. They were in there for 3 days, did intense grazing on about 15 or 16 acres of some wonderful cover crop in patches. It did much better than this pasture right here behind me. This one's gonna need some TLC. And then pasture 2, which is a late season rye that I planted. All of these pastures, which I call my sacrifice pastures, it's the front 80 of the property. It's gonna give them plenty of time to rest, so we can keep them in the burn unit for a while. And I'm betting we're gonna have some babies back there before we know it. That's another benefit to being able to go back there now that that patch burn of 40 acres is ready, and they can graze it. They can even go over to the standing dead other 40 that hasn't been burned, get some grazing there on some cool season grasses up until about May or June when it gets to get hot. When it starts getting hot, then all the cool season stuff will be gone and it'll be into grazing just for our native grasses, our warm season grasses. Let me mention, there's one more good perk about having the bison in the back of property. You can leave all your gates open. Oh man, I love being able to take those bison back there. I love the work and the results of patch burn grazing. We're gonna be able to put those bison back there for a while. We're gonna rotate them around before we bring them back to the cover crop. And soon enough, hopefully we'll have a couple of red dogs, which is always exciting, a great and fun time of the year. So also we got some summer sausage. I hadn't mentioned that in previous videos. I never talk about the summer sausage, but I should, because it is amazing summer sausage. I'm not being biased, but it is some of the best summer sausage I've ever had. And it's 100% bison raised right here in Oklahoma. And you can get it all right there, including some new merch that Marissa's came out with on our website. You guys can check it all out right there. Thank you guys for watching. We're gonna keep on bison ranching.